Good morning. My name is Bryson. I'll be your chairperson for today's service. Are there any visitors or new students and families here this morning? First, we'll have sutra chanting. Please join in the reading of Sambujo on page 24 in the big book, followed by Junirai on page 20 in the little book and page 67 in the big book. Now we will have Gatha Amida Buddha is with me on page 32, followed by the golden chain located on page 2 in the little book and page 15 in the big book under golden chain 1.
When at play I'm happy, 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 happy. Amida Buddha is with me. Happy, happy, happy. When at work I'm happy, 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 happy. Amida Buddha is with me. Happy, happy, happy. When at school I'm happy, 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 happy. Amida Buddha is with me. Happy, happy, happy. When at church I'm happy, 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 happy. Amida Buddha is with me. If you would please now join in the reading of the golden chain. I am a link in Amida's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I will keep my link bright and strong. I will be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will think pure and beautiful thoughts, say pure and beautiful words, and do pure and beautiful deeds. May every link in Amida's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you. Please be seated.
Now we will have a Dharma lesson by Mr. Akizuki.
Good morning. Excuse me. Good morning. Please join me in Gassho and reciting the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Okay, so welcome to everybody. Either watching here in person or watching the streaming live at home, or maybe you're going to watch this afterwards. Glad you can join us. If you're watching live, you can introduce yourself in the chat section, which is to the bottom right, I think, of your screen. See if you have questions about Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. You could ask people there. If you're here and you want to ask somebody, ask the ministers afterwards. Or Mr. Jones is another good one. In a last resort, you can ask me, but I defer to them in all things. So I'm speaking to you for the second time in a week. And so it's kind of tough for me to come up with topics sometimes. So I asked a couple people last week for help in suggesting a topic. And the suggestion was that I talk about the relationship between samsara and nirvana. And I don't think the person who suggested that is here today, unfortunately. So maybe that person's friends will tell that person I came through with something. So, samsara and nirvana. Okay, so there are probably some blank expressions out there. What's samsara? What's nirvana? Samsara is spelled S-A-M-S-A-R-A, samsara. A website called Encyclopedia of Buddhism says samsara is the cycle of existence, quote, the continued cycle of birth and death that arises from ordinary beings grasping on a self and experiences. Okay, that still might be a little bit difficult to understand. I think that kind of means samsara is everything that happens in our lives. It happens over and over again. Suffering that happens from emotions such as greed, anger, stupidity. You may have heard of greed, anger, stupidity. Remember them by GAS, G-A-S, right? Greed, anger, stupidity. Nirvana is spelled N-I-R-V-A-N-A, nirvana. That same encyclopedia says the meaning of nirvana is, it comes from an ancient language called Sanskrit. And if you want, Sanskrit is S-A-N-S-K-R-I-T. And that means to be extinguished. In Buddhism, it means extinguishing the fires of attachment. So what that means, going back to gas, it means getting rid of greed, anger, and stupidity. So you can feel happy, you feel satisfied, you feel at peace. So there's an expression that goes like this: samsara is nirvana. Now, does that make sense? Kind of hard to understand, huh? Samsara is nirvana. So how does that work? I mean, they're kind of like samsara and nirvana, right? Well, it's kind of like you need one to have the other. It's like if you just had nirvana, you wouldn't really appreciate nirvana, right? Because that'd be the only thing you would know. So if you didn't have the three poisons, how can you appreciate nirvana? I mean, so life, the things that happen in life, makes us appreciate those happy times, those moments of nirvana, right? But permanently getting rid of the three poisons is very, very difficult. Probably impossible for someone like me, right? So reaching that state of nirvana, let's call that nirvana with a capital N, big nirvana, right? But I think there's moments of nirvana with a lowercase n, little nirvana. These comes the good times in life, right? We have fun with our friends. Our parents hug us. We complete a task. We get a good grade on a test. We win a game. So as Shin Buddhists, when those kind of things happen, what should we do? Anybody?
When those things happen, you should not brag about it.
That's good. But anything else we should do? How about, say, Namo Amida Butsu? Okay? So, did you know that Ojuzu in the left hand is held in the left hand because that represents the world of suffering, samsara. The other hand represents the right hand, represents nirvana. So when we do this, and Gassho, that kind of is coming together. That is, samsara is nirvana, right? So I'll defer to some other teachers who I looked up, and they have talked about this. Now, some of you may know Reverend Kenji Akahoshi. He grew up here. He was in San Diego at the resident minister of the San Diego Temple. He's now retired. He's back in San Jose, so you might see him around. Here's what he says about samsara and nirvana. Quote, "We are in samsara when we have negative thoughts and experiences. We are in nirvana when we feel positive and joyous. These states are not permanent. As we know, everything changes in permanence. Samsara occurs when our thoughts and actions are directed toward egocentric motives. That means about ourselves. Nirvana is experienced when we feel compassion and connection to others." And another minister, a longtime minister, Reverend Mas Kodani, he's used to be at Senshin. He's retired. He's been retired for a number of years. He said, in life, you may experience moments of enlightenment, of nirvana, but it'll only be momentarily. Shinran also said that you don't have to say the Nembutsu as a practice to get you nirvana, but rather the opposite, that truth knocks at our door and the Nembutsu is an expression of gratitude for that knocking. You fleetingly experience awakening when you examine or listen to the truth about yourself. So that's listening to not the good things about yourself, but the bad things about yourself, right? And learning from those bad things about yourself. So when you have those moments of realization, when you have those moments of feeling good, you should show your appreciation for that realization by saying the Nembutsu, saying Namo Amida Butsu, saying silently even to yourself, okay? I think those moments of enlightenment, those moments of nirvana with a little n, that happen in our lives, they're very important, I think. I think they kind of slowly get us to realize what the truth in life is all about. And if we keep on realizing them, and we say the Nembutsu from our hearts in appreciation for those moments, then that will get us a little bit closer to nirvana with a big N. So please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you to Mr. Akizuki. We will now have Gatha Sayonara on page 103, followed by the promise located on page 5 in the little book and page 15 in the big book.
Sayonara sensei o daiji ni, anoshi kondo no tsudoi made.
The promise. We thank the Buddha for showing us the way of freedom.
We will endeavor to walk in his noble path every day of our lives.
Namo Amida Butsu.
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 Thank you to Rinban, Sakamoto, Reverend Mikame, and Reverend Assistant Mr. Jones, and to organist Mrs. Jones. Are there any announcements?
Okay, great job. Because I remember when my son was in his shoes and he did it for the first time, he got to be much, much better, as some of you can attest. Um, yeah, he became a youth minister's assistant. So that's where you can go from starting from this, okay? Let's see, 2 announcements. One is that, I think you know this one, junior choir. So if you guys like to sing, and I know there are some of you out there, please consider joining us. I think we're going to have a very small group, but I think we are going to have a group. That's what it looks like. So if you are interested, please let Mrs. Kawamata know, okay, by sending her email at ds-superintendent@sjbetsuin. The second is that I'm also in charge of programs here at the Betsuin. So we are, this coming Thursday, we are going to have an all programs meeting. This is more like a congress or a meeting to just get information out to all the programs. So it's not much that you present. It's me and the other church leaders, especially people from the board, presenting. So if you are interested and if you are representing a program here, and that includes scouts, although they're not required, they're welcome, and then junior YB and so forth. So if you are interested, please let the office know, or you can just email them at sjbc@sjbetsuin.org. So thank you very much.
You have my piece of paper. Yeah, I wanted to be sure that I had this information correct. Unfortunately, I have some sad news to relate to everyone. That Reverend, some of you may know, Reverend Hiroshi Abiko passed away on October the 6th. He was here for a little while. He was a brand new minister and stayed actually where our library is now. That's where he and his family originally were, in a small apartment where that where our library is now. And he passed away again on October the 6th. Funeral services for Abiko Sensei will be on October the 27th at 1 o'clock. And because it's very limited, they're asking that they will also have a Zoom of that service. I'm not sure how they're going to distribute that Zoom information, but if you contact the San Francisco Buddhist Church, they can have information for you. Or if you would like to send messages to the Abiko family, you can send it to the San Francisco Buddhist Temple, and they'll forward it to the Abiko family. So again, that service will be conducted on October the 27th, 1 o'clock at the San Francisco Buddhist Temple. So again, a bit of sad news for those of you who in Taiko have Abiko Sensei to thank in large part because of his work here at the Betsuin that started San Jose Taiko and continues to this day. And so there's a lot of history that Abiko Sensei has had with this Betsuin. So please, if you can, remember the work of Abiko Sensei. Thank you very much. That's it.
Before everyone leaves the temple, please straighten all the books for the next service. Those of you who are interested are welcome to attend the adult English service following this service, or to visit the open door cafe outside. For your safety, please obey the crossing guards and look both ways before crossing the street. Thank you for attending.
Good job. Thank you.
You took the golden chain.
So yesterday you had somebody come and
Oh no, that was like.
yeah, they had somebody stop by and say you're not supposed to be part of watching the fence. If it was that big, they would put it down.
I think Zaka
Oh, he's in charge. Yeah. See ya. Thank you. Thank you. Bye. Sensei, after Okyo, I think I'm gonna have to run away to the meeting conference. Because they're doing yeah. I think after Okyo Betsuin, Okyo Betsuin, it's you, huh?
Yes, but I don't know the texture of mine, so I don't
Yeah,
know
that's
if
okay.
I can see your texture. Hopefully that can help me. Okay, it's okay. Thank you.
Good morning. What's how are you? Good job.
Thank you.
Good morning.
You did a great job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Thank you so much.
Good morning. Good morning.
Have a good day.
Good morning.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Before we begin this morning's service, just a reminder that we ask that there's no food and drinks in the Hondo, and please turn off your cell phones during the service. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, is there anyone new today that feels comfortable introducing themselves and stuff like that and say hi? Oh, great, great. Well, welcome to today's service and stuff like that. Do you want to introduce yourself? Sorry.
Well, hi. I'm a professor at a local college, Evergreen Valley College. So we're actually here to learn about the organization and about the Buddhist faith. And these are students and faculty at the college.
Oh, great. Well, welcome, and hopefully learn something here today. So thank you very much for coming. Okay, we'll begin this morning's service with opening meditation, followed by sutra chanting Junirai, which is on page 67 in the large service book, which is the one that's the plastic bound, okay, or page 110, okay, in the Dharma School service book, which is actually the smaller purple one.
Namanda, Tsunamanda, 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 Tsunamanda.
Okay, please rise for the Gatha Texture of Life on, actually, it's only in the small, basically purple book on page 94, the Dharma School Service book. And then after the Gatha, please remain standing for the three treasures on page 3 in the Dharma School Service book.
The texture of the life to be, we weave in colors all our own, and in the realm of destiny we reap as we have sown. We make ourselves the joys and fears with which the coming life is, and fill alone our future spheres with sunshine or with shade. We live our present lives again with memory warm or coldly dim. The pictures of the past remain, man's work shall follow him. If you'll please join now in reading of the three treasures on page 3 in the Dharma School Service book. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves the supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in your life of harmony, in a spirit of universal brotherhood, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you. Please be seated.
Okay, now we'll have a Dharma message by Reverend Mikame.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. So I'd like to begin my talk with reading a passage from the larger sutra, which is considered as one of the most important sutras in the tradition. So if you wouldn't mind, please join me in Kansho. Place your hands together at your heart center. I regard being of the three worlds with boundless great compassion. The reason for my appearance in the world is to reveal teachings of the way and save multitudes of beings by endowing them with true benefits. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Okay, thank you very much. Shinran Shonin, the founder of our tradition, Jodo Shinshu, wrote that his encounter with his teacher, Honen Shonin, was very important for his life. So according to my teacher in Japan, Honen Shonin led Shinran Shonin to make a big shift in his life like this. So, for example, so imagine you're in the movie theater, and unfortunately, there is a fire there. Okay, what would you do? So everybody probably would have to leave, right, from there. So maybe you would try to open the door, right? But it won't open. How come? The doors of the theaters and cinemas are supposed to be unlocked to allow for evacuation at once in the event of an emergency. You may try your best to put it open. So, for example, like this, maybe we have a door like this in the theater, right? But it doesn't open. This is happening. Okay? That is strange part, right? If Shinan Shonin was in the same situation, Shinan Shonin is our founder, he's in the right side, and so he's enshrined in the right side. So if Shinan Shonin was in the same situation as me, Honan Shonin, his teacher, would say like this: "Hey, you would have it. You have it backwards. You have to push it open." Then Shinan Shonin might have realized, oh, it was the other way around. Maybe you might think I'm stupid because you guys know that door open to push, right? But I believe this is the only way to open the door. Roughly speaking, this is what my teacher told me. Honen Shonin led Shinan Shonin to make a big shift mind like this. It was just a small change, but make difference in his understanding of Buddhism. If you ask me what Buddhism is, I can say that there are three interpretations commonly understood by Buddhists around the world. The first thing is that the teachings of Buddha, which means the teachings as it was preached by Shakyamuni Buddha in India. This indicates that the Buddhism is the teaching that was preached 2,500 years ago in India by Shakyamuni Buddha over the course of his 80-year life. The second is that the Buddha is the teaching itself. What this means is that the actions and the words of Buddha as writing is the sutra are the teachings as they are. In the larger sutra, there's a phrase, with the expression of kindness on your face and gentleness in your words, which means the Buddha treated all people with a smile and kind words. So it is through such an appearance that the teachings are conveyed. The third, the Buddhism is a teaching to become a Buddha. This is the most important thing. It is to attain the same enlightenment as a Shakyamuni Buddha, as a Buddha. And this is the most common goal of all Buddhist traditions. It is said that the Buddha taught 84,000 teachings. This number represents the infinite number, meaning that he preached countless teachings that suit the person in front of him in such a way that the person could understand it according to person's ability. There are many different kinds of Buddhist groups because different sects value different sutras. General image of Buddhism is like climbing a flight of stairs to attain a Buddhahood. In the Tendai sect, in Japanese Buddhism, there are 52 steps. In order to get out of the endless suffering loop of repeated birth and death, doing good deeds and refraining from bad deeds, we climb up the stairs toward the enlightenment one by one, which is commonly known by a known way of Buddhist practice. Shinan Shonin, our founder of Jodo Shinshu, was also the practitioner of the Tendai sect in Japan on Mount Hiei for 20 years from his age of 9. He dedicated his 20 years on the mountain to enlightenment, studying and practicing diligently. Sometimes things went as well as climbing a flight of stairs. But then other times he stumbled as if he was running down again. I guess he wanted to see, hear, and experience many things as a regular person, but he lived his life in 20s, struggling and striving to attain enlightenment on the top of the mountain. However, even after 20-year practice on the Mount Hiei, he couldn't achieve the enlightenment. The more seriously and sincerely he faced, the harder and more painful it must have been. In Shinran Shonin's time, epidemics and famines are widespread, and many sick, old, and weak, and dying people were suffering before his eyes. Also, dead bodies were lying all over the city of Kyoto in Japan. And he wondered if this was a path to enlightenment for him. I'm sure that he must have asked himself these questions as he traveled back and forth between the town and Mount Hiei. The world they lived in was very harsh and full of hardships and troubles. In a way, he would have thought it would be better to train in the mountain. He would have realized that after death, you were not going to hell or paradise or any other nice place, but that he or they were now in the midst of the hell. And he must have wondered if this path was the way to salvation for all. At the time, he heard about Honen Shonin, his master, and afterwards, he had heard that while Mount Hiei was filling with young and strong male ascetic monks, men and women of all ages gathered around the Honen Shonin to listen to his teachings. He said that regardless age, gender, occupation, ordination, ordination or age, he taught the way to salvation by reciting Namo Amida Butsu, Nembutsu once. Shinran Shonin visited Honen Shonin to hear his talks. I believe that Shinran Shonin did not understand what Honen Shonin was saying at first. So Shinran Shonin went to see Honen Shonin every day for 100 days. Rain or shine or continue to listen to Honen Shonin and asking questions. Then Shinran Shonin realized that Honen Shonin told him that he had been doing the opposite of what Honen Shonin was saying. A big mind shift happened to him. He was pushing open, but it was opposite, right? In hearing Honen Shonin's talk, Shinran Shonin heard and understood the most important thing the Buddha wanted to teach was in the Leisure Sutra. As he indicates in the Leisure Sutra, the reason for my appearance in the world is to reveal the teaching of the way and save the multitudes of beings by endowing them with true benefits. This is what I read at the beginning of this talk. The true meaning of the Buddha was to save all that are afflicted and suffering. Bodhisattva Dharmakara, who is the prior stage of the Amida Buddha. Amida Buddha is in front of this hondo, in the center of this hondo. He searched into all suffering beings, and including those with feelings, those who live in pain, those who are sick, those who are old, and those who are young for a countless amount of time. It is a great compassion that Amida Buddha did not say, "You come to me," but came down to the stair to suffering things themselves. Yeah. So Dhammakara Bodhisattva made the decision to bring all beings to be born in the Pure Land and become a Buddha. For this purpose, he vowed that he would become a Buddha and reach all beings as Namo Amida Butsu, leading all to the enlightenment of the Buddha. And he would not have he would have fulfilled his vow as such. So Namo Amida Butsu, we chant, is enlightenment that Amida Buddha embraces our lives and will lead us to the Pure Land of the Buddha's enlightenment. We never need to be lost because we know where we are and the direction we should aim for thanks to Amida Buddha's guidance. As for the goal of becoming a Buddha, there are many paths just like in climbing mountains. We don't have to walk blindly on our own, but with Namo Amida Butsu, this allows all of us to walk the same path together. The benefits is that it is definitely decided now that we are sure to be born into a Buddha when this life ends. Then, how does it relate to the present moments in which we live now? There are many things that are painful, hard, and sad, but these things will not disappear, but will be given the flexibility to see those difficulties as they are and the strength to transcend them through Buddha's wisdom and compassion. Enlightenment can be paraphrased as freedom. This means to be free from all boundaries that keeps us stuck in this world. Amida Buddha assured us that when our lives come to an end, we will reach the stage of enlightenment or revelation. However, Shinai Shonin said that by listening to Amida's virtues, he will lead us to be free from the framework of values and ideas that we believe are right or wrong in this world. For example, when comparing the person who lived a long life or a person who ended one's life early, which one can be said to have fulfilled one's life? Everyone would think that the person person who lived longer would have fulfilled one's life. Therefore, people may value living a long and excited life and in good health as much as possible. And by assigning value in this way, they might feel sorry for those who don't. This may assume that those who have money are happier, and those who don't have money are pitiful, and can do whatever they want. However, Shinai Shonin teaches us that true happiness is to be free from such values that are regarded as right and wrong by the world. Amida is coming to us because Amida cannot leave us suffering in the values frames that we have put on ourselves, even if we are not able to approach the Buddha through the ascetic practices. The enlightened one is approaching each life with Namo Amida Butsu. Here and now, at this moment, we are being guided in the direction of enlightenment. And that it doesn't matter if you're old, young, sick, healthy, in a difficult situation, poor or rich, you are all equal. We are all equally receiving the same wonderful enlightenment right now. Okay. Thank you for listening. I'd like to conclude my talk with saying Namo Amida Butsu with Gassho. Please join me in Gassho. If you wouldn't mind, please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Well, thank you, Reverend Mikame, for your wonderful Dharma message today. Okay, next, please rise for the Gatha Ondokusan II, which is on page 220 in the large service book, okay, or page 76, okay, in the Dharma School service book.
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Thank you. Please be seated.
Okay, are there any announcements? Okay. No? Oh. Okay.
It's a rather sad announcement that I have to make. On October the 6th, Reverend Hiroshi Abiko passed away. Some of you may know him. Abiko Sensei was a minister for a short while here at the Betsuin in the early, must have been mid-70s, late 70s? Late 70s. And he lived, he and his wife, Messiah, lived in what is currently our library. There was a small apartment there, and he was saying how sometimes he would wake up in the morning and find a crate of vegetables outside his door. Because at that time, we still had many farmers in the area and within our membership, and he remembered fondly how those kinds of experiences. And the service, his funeral service is scheduled currently for October the 27th at 1 o'clock at the San Francisco Buddhist Temple. If you would like to send any notes or letters to the Abiko family, you can send them to the San Francisco Buddhist Temple, and they'll forward any messages that you have onto the family. But they are, it is sad. He started taiko here while he was here, and that taiko group grew to become the San Jose taiko, which is now really famous throughout, certainly through the colleges here in the United States, as well as now across the world. San Jose taiko continues to grow and thrive, but it finds its roots here with Abiko Sensei. So again, the service is scheduled for October the 27th at 1 o'clock, San Francisco Buddhist Temple. And if you would like to send any messages or letters, please send them to the San Francisco Buddhist Temple, and they'll forward it on to the family. Thank you very much. Is that it? Are we done? Okay.
Okay, again, I'd like to thank basically Reverend Mikame and Minister Assistants and Rinban Sakamoto and organist Elaine Jones, and also our AV person Steve Onishi for today for basically handling our live stream. So that concludes today's service, And if you like, basically, please come up and actually oshoko or offer incense after service before leaving. Okay, thank you very much for coming.